So last we left off in Grimm Scarlet, the snow and summer. The group just had recently made their way into Center Hill and spent a decent amount of time investigating the city proper, finding different locations that scale from the merchants area to the Church of Light. And then also, just randomly exploring, you find a tower that seems to belong to a very specific brand of faunus that seem to share bird-like qualities. After encountering who seemed to be the mistress of that area, you learn that she had some involvement with Ergenbold that unfortunately passed on your trek to Center Hill. Giving her that knowledge, she would leave you all to your own devices after figuring out there's nothing more that she could do for you. Entertaining your curiosity for the city at that point, you guys would make your way back to the Church of Light to encounter a priest there that directs you to the location of one of the guards that had suffered serious damage from the Grimm attack earlier, that you guys were able to assist. Speaking with him, he would inform you all that he changed the direction of his life pretty much due to that traumatic encounter, and as a result decided to take membership in the Church of Life by becoming an initiate. That information, you guys glean that, well, it's probably the best for him. But at the same time, trying to figure out more to do with the strange icon that you gained possession of after Ergenbold's death. Speaking with the once guard, he would give you information about how Ergenbold was actually trying to meet a certain priest that was a part of the Church of Light, that he was trying to come here to deliver it to that priest specifically. Feeling a little elated at that fact, you ask a favor of him to get you in contact with the priest that Ergen was trying to find. Being compliant, since Matthias saved him from certain death, he went off to set up the meeting, which he let you guys know where to meet and who to meet. Taking that, you guys went to the library of the Church of Light and waited for the individual. Right before losing hope after waiting an extended amount of time, you came out to the hall to see the man that you were hoping to find, slowly making his way to the room, looking to be in his late 60s and pretty haggard and old. He was just really slow at getting there. Having the time to speak with him, he would inform you that the icon was actually something of great importance that actually predated most of the history that's on Remnant currently. With that, he would offer forms of payment to the party, and really the main thing they wanted was a place to stay. He would offer that to them as they gained residence now in the Church of Light. Now having a place to stay in Center Hill, and already completed their mission on getting their caravan to Center Hill safely, they begin to head out to try to find what it is that they can do to really help the fact that with their status of being huntsmen and huntresses. But before they could even really get out of the temple door, they're stopped by two members of the city's guard, stating that they're required to meet the Nightxgamer, and that if they choose to not come, they've been told to make them come by any means possible. Seeing the fertility of making this a hostile encounter, the group unwillingly, but ultimately with no choice, abided to their request and followed them to the Knight Commander. After passing through the rigors of seeing the Knight Commander's office filled to the brim with different knights and or guardsmen on duty, you guys make it to the Knight Commander's office to see him standing there with his attention placed on papers on his desk. After a short interval of waiting for him to address you all, you guys take the initiative as Knight Commander Yaren would introduce himself and essentially state the reason why he had the party taken. Much to the party's confusion, it wasn't for nothing that they've done wrong. It was more so to gain more information about the Grimm on the outer layers of the city, and or the Grimm activity in the area in general. But while going through the description and the troubles that you all went through, his secretary would come up bringing a note directly to the Knight Commander. Taking a small moment to read it, he would turn more solemn and stern as the blanking secretary. Woo! As the secretary would leave the room. Turning back to the party, he would look at you all and ask you something very serious, which is, what of the item that you brought the priest, which was strange because, as far as you all were known, the icon and the relic was something very private amongst yourselves, and a choice few, so him bringing up was questionable. And then he would continue to tell the party that the priest that they met was found relatively within an hour's time, dead in his study, with the evidence of foul play. And as the campaign ended last week, he stood, putting his hands on his table, looking at the four of the party members, requesting that they give him his weapons and submit to being taken prisoner. And that's where we pick up today. As the scene opens up, you can hear the subtle crackle of a fireplace in the Knight Commander's room, filling up the room with heat. The parallel of the light of the fireplace shining on the Knight Commander and the flickering of the shadows of the light on the party as he has his hands pressed on the table, looking down at the party. Granted, he doesn't seem to be too enthusiastic about his request. It's almost as if it's a hassle, the way that he's going through asking about it, as he's looking at the party currently, waiting for them to either comply or resist. What do you do?
I slowly reach for my weapon and then hand it to him, like, kind of solemnly, like, I don't really want to give this up, but here you go.
Doing the same, kind of like reluctantly taking out my violin and kind of put it on the table, but keeping an eye out just in case, because this is a little fishy to me. Too convenient that as soon as we happen to get here, you just happen to get the message, you know?
And RD?
Just gonna stand there for a second, like, take it in. See what he says.
As his head would turn to you and just look expectingly, waiting for you to hand you your weapon.
I really don't want to give it up. I will take a step forward and ask. Are we being arrested?
At the moment, you're being held simply because you're the last ones to have seen the priest alive, which means that, essentially, you're to be held until we're able to ascertain more information about this case. In other words, you're to assist with inquiries.
Assist with what? I didn't hear.
Inquiries.
I will put it on the desk.
And then Reeve would angrily huff as he would take out his mace and just drop it on the desk, actually making it dent some with its weight.
Barbaric. No,
Seems
barbaric.
accurate.
It's barbaric as being held against our wills when we didn't even do anything wrong.
It is standard military procedure and standard police procedure that the last witnesses are to be detained. It is simple. I would have thought a hunter like you would know that. Sorry.
Doesn't mean we have to like it just because we understand it.
Looking at you all, you can see, like, the Knight Commander, even though you guys are complying and doing what he's wanting, he just kind of sighs. He's like, well, I'm going to have a man come and then lead you to your cells. And then...
Oh no.
So by being detained, he meant being arrested. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't.
That's called detained is being arrested.
Yeah, I know.
as he would move to gather all of your weapons. You can definitely tell, though, he doesn't seem like he's putting all his heart into this as he's doing it. As he would take your weapons and move it to what seems like a locked case that he takes a swipe card off of his person. As the case would unlock and one by one putting all your weapons inside. As he would turn to the four of you.
Are you sure that a cell is necessary?
Well, you guys haven't given me much reason to think otherwise.
I mean, we are trained hunters and huntresses. We have been
And we just arrived
charged.
here.
We just arrived.
Here. So, tell me this, Captain. If we were the murderers, why would we compliantly follow you when you first came till we come out of the building rather than try to run away or try to do something another excuse not to come? And why would we willingly just give up the weapon and help you out?
He would raise his hand as you're going over this. Trust me. I've done my job long enough to know that if you're really here to kill that man and steal the object, there'd be no reason for you guys to take the object to begin with.
I mean,
What did you know about the object?
One question is though, how did you know about the object?
Yeah.
Because my men were told that other people saw that one right there, continuously pulling it out.
God.
Wait a minute, he only pulled it off once.
What, this? As he goes to pull it out. Oh, wait. I don't have it.
We don't have it anymore.
No, but remember correctly, he only pulled it out once in public. Other times he attempted to, but didn't pull anything out. So unless your men were following us specifically, they would have known that I only pulled it out once. And that, at that point, it's just a random artifact. So how we knew it was an artifact rather than a random trinket? Unless you were spying on us.
We complied by giving you our weapons.
So it is very awfully curious to know that this was an artifact.
Well, I just knew that you brought an item. Artifact is interesting news.
You interesting news. You're the one who said
Okay.
it first.
No, out of character, he did not say artifact. He said item.
No, he earlier said artifact.
Said item. I think.
I heard item.
I heard artifact.
I heard object. We'll see.
He would sigh and begin to rub his temples, says, "Listen. Murders like these are just simply becoming more and more of a thorn in my side," as he would move towards his desk and put his hands clasped in front of his face. You mentioned the fact that you are all hunters. Maybe you can be hunters of men instead of beasts for today, or the time being.
What you telling me?
My men,
Hunters came all across on a caravan, helping people.
Just let him speak. I think
It
he was
would
going a different way.
like looking at Schwartz and just raising a brow. Are you finished?
Annoyed, just looking at him, like looking up to him very annoyedly, kind of like tapping my foot, like looking at arms crossed, like just with a hand off. I'm done. Not saying anything.
Good. I would say with the last raid's eye. My men are strained with handling a lot of things in the city, mainly because a good amount of our huntsmen left recently after being recalled back, stating that there was an attack on one of the other cities in the area, which left a lot of our anti-Grimm methods and or things that we can handle Grimm with lacking. I won't lie, we're strained far and few in between, and handling infighting and murders like these is just more of a problem that we can handle by ourselves. How about you scratch my back? If you help me with this particular instance, we can forgo the process of locking you up and causing a problem. If you help me figure out who did this.
Well, of course, we want to help you because
We want to figure out as well who did this.
Yeah.
that old man was very kind to us.
It was so sweet.
He would look at all of you individually, seeing you're trying to sense your motives and seeing good in your eyes. He would just nod. It's like, very well. As he would open his desk, as he would begin to write out on a piece of paper that looks like it's partially all the way filled, minus some areas that he hand signs. This is a warrant of investigation. It'll do you good in the circles of the city and trying to find any information through people that could aid you in information, as long as it's pertaining to this specific case. As he would write it out, sign it, and then hold his hand out to the first person who takes it.
I take it.
Our dean's the leader.
I gotta take it, grab it, look at it, then reluctantly give it to our dean.
Thank you. Putting it in the player bank.
I go, hey, wait, is he finished talking or he's gonna keep talking?
He just crosses his fingers over his face as he watches Ardeen as she's reading it.
I go, what is doing that? Kind of like, not like second step forward, look at him and go, what about our weapons? If there is a murderer on the loose that we're looking for, being weaponless would be a bad idea.
I was never planning on keeping them.
Thank you.
You're a very abrasive young girl.
I'm gonna try to elbow her in the side, but she's so tiny it kind of ends up being
Ow!
like,
Into
yeah,
Head.
yeah.
I hold my tongue for a second, but kind of almost like squinting my eyes, like tiny squint glare. Just look at him. We were like my arms behind my back.
I assume that everything is in order with that. You turn his head, ignoring towards and looking back at Ardeen.
Yeah. We will do our best.
Very well. As he would stand up and move towards the area where he locked your guys' weapons up and swipe its card as it would unlock, as he would take each one of your weapons individually, handing it back to your person specifically.
Can I
Thank
grab
Thank
it?
you so much, sir.
Put it back.
You'll be doing me and this city a great favor in doing this.
Is there anything else you can tell us about the other murders? Do they seem to be related, or is there a pattern, or I don't know, anything that could help us?
I wouldn't know. Only thing I know is that he was dead by foul play, and seems like his study was ransacked. By the means of his death and whatnot, we weren't... I wasn't informed yet, since he would express his in hands. It's like, I was in here with you all.
Well, I meant the previous ones.
They don't seem
Or is
to
there
have
someone
any...
that we could talk to?
There's just murders in town. I don't know if there's a connection or not.
If we have
Well-
questions later, is there someone else we can talk to? So if we want
Well,
to have
You
to
can
bother
come
you.
back and speak to me then.
Okay.
Well, have all the murders have a pattern?
Can you tell us anything about the other murders?
As far as I can tell you is that there is something specific in the way that they die that is common with the 3 that's already passed.
Which is...
The use of weapon.
Other character? Really, the pronoun game? Anyway, back in character.
The use of weapon?
They all seem to have been slain by this similar type of weapon. After inspecting the bodies, they all seem to have a small dart fixated somewhere on their person.
DOS? Or more... DOS or more of a physical dart?
It was dust and wouldn't remain a dart.
I mean, it was more of a metallic rather than a dust dart.
You wouldn't be able to be sure. Whatever was inside it was injected to the persons that died. Is there anything else that I can answer?
Not yet, I don't think.
Oh, quick question. All the murderers, have all of them have some relations to the Temple of Light?
He would shake his head no.
Or of the wolf. The order
Of the wolf.
As he would continue to shake his head no. As far as it looks like, they don't have any connections at all.
Like
Where
they,
did these
were-
murders occur?
There's one in the South District. There's another in High Top. And then the last was in the Merchant Guild. And the priest makes the fourth one.
Can you tell us about the people who were murdered?
If you give me a moment, I can go and get the case files on the particular cases. Granted, like I said, if you're trying to help me with this particular case, it might be of the essence if you hurry there. The priests say they were locking it down, but...
Yes, but if we
Then-
go there and there's nothing to look for, and we didn't come prepared, maybe have information, we're gonna go there blind, and if it's a trap, we're
Well-
gonna get trapped, so...
What? As you get the case files ready, we can go investigate for now.
Good, that's
Yeah,
what
we
I
can
was
come
trying
back.
to tell you, is
Yeah.
take some time.
Sure.
We will come back later, and I will look at Schwartz.
I look up, just roll my eyes and go, let's go.
Alright, so as
Oh.
you guys begin to leave, well, Swartz leaves, you all too.
Mhm.
Thank you.
He would nod with his arms crossed behind his back as you guys would leave and the door would close behind you. As you make your way down the hall, you find yourselves passing by a lot of the doors, and as you do, you can see a lot of the guards are just watching as you guys are leaving. Not really being aggressive towards you all, but it seems like they're all remembering your faces as you all take your stride outside.
I keep my head low.
Confidence much.
As you make your way outside, where would you like to go?
Straight to the temple?
Yeah, that seems like the best place to go for now.
Yeah.
As quickly as we can.
I'll hop on Ruth's back. Let's go!
So making your way back to the Temple of Light, you can see that there's a small amassing crowd of initiates that are standing outside the temple that seem to be completely, bewildered. As it looks like they're not being gained access to the temple at the moment. As you make your way past them and get to the main doors, you can see that there's actually armor-clad individuals with long swords planted in the ground in front of each door. As you would make your approach to them, as one of them holds their hand out, it's like, "Halt! No one has entry here."
No one?
I look at our dean.
I'm gonna, take out the warrant and say, we were sent by the Knight Commander Urine. Knight Commander Captain Urine.
He would take the parchment and look at it. So he would give a nod and hand it back towards you. As he would move towards the door and open it up, only one side enough for the four of you to make through.
Yep.
And as you
Thank you.
do so, he would give you a nod as he would close the door behind you. On the inside, you can see a familiar face as Harkin is just walking and pacing back and forth, his hands covering his temples and just looking very stressed and anxious.
I will go up to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
and say hello, or that not that happy.
Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Like, how? What happened here?
Seeing you and the rest of the group, he would just turn and just like, oh my word, what are you doing here? There was a terrible accident that happened.
It was no accident.
So you're aware.
I'll take out the warrant and hand it to him to read.
He would very reluctantly take it at first and look it over as his eyes or brows would like raise and say, oh, so you're actually investigating this. Huntsmen
You
and
wanna know what-
huntresses
It was like a,
hunting murderers. Never would
We
have
just offered to help the police. They're
Understandable. Well, here, I'll lead you to Targan study. Bode study.
Thank you.
As he would walk ahead of you all. As you have a moment not being in the middle of the city and or surrounded by a crowd that, looking around, you're really isolated in the building. That if you were going to speak amongst your selves, this would be the chance to do it.
Why is this happening to us?
I'm not gonna say anything.
So as you guys make
Sorry.
your way,
No one said anything.
No,
Okay.
she's walking like stone faced.
All right.
so as Matthias, you just have a realization of all the negativity that's basically befallen your group after initially encountering that first set of Grimm. As you guys find your way in front of the door leading into the late Marklin Boggs study. As Harkin would turn to look at you all with a face that shows like despair in the light of what's happened, he would push the door open and just keep his head bowed as he would let you four enter.
I'm gonna nod at him and go in.
So, making your way to the study, you can see that, for one, a light breeze blowing through the room as an arrangement of different blank pieces of paper are scattered all across the floor and desk. The room itself is from floor to roof, lined on each wall, these bookcases that seem to be filled to the brim with different volumes and novels and tomes. And then finally, you see, slightly swiveling against the wind, the body, the past Marklin Bog. A face stricken with what looks like fear and anguish, as it slowly
look
creeps
away and-
back and forth. Go ahead.
I look away and grimace a bit.
I kind of like step forward, try to investigate if I see anything out of place.
As you take a step forward, you hear the crunch on your feet as you step by all the different papers that have been scattered across the room, as you try to get an eye of if there's anything more that's gone wrong. Go ahead and roll an investigation.
Yeah, I'm good at those.
Can we all do this, or just Shores?
Yeah, you can.
Ardeen is gonna take a deep breath and sort of sink to the floor for a second and just like breathe. She's freaking out a little bit.
Nope.
As you're on the ground, like, you just feel a warm sensation just press up against your back. Ardeen.
Look around, like, what is it?
As you look back, as you see the large hand of Reeve just pressed against the upper part of your back, just giving you an affirming nod.
Oh. Just gonna sit there for a minute.
As Matthias and Schwartz, as the two of you, well, Matthias trying to keep your gaze away from the body as much as possible. Schwartz, you go through headlong, not really affected currently about the scene, trying to find something that implements, if anything, more of your all's guilt, or innocence, and or the guilt of another party. But you can't help it as you turn and get closer to the body, as haven't come across many dead people, and it's slowly starting to bother you the longer that you stay in here. And for Matthias, as you're keeping to the edges of the room, staying away from the corpse, you find your way to the window. One that you recognized before when you were here, except you never remembered it being open.
Okay. Do you guys remember if this window was open when we were last here?
I mean, makes sense if they would use the moon, you know?
Can I take a closer look at the window?
The thing. Oh.
So Satya, you can fix your position in the camera.
Wait, what?
Your position in the camera.
Oh. So I just... There you go. Better?
Yep. So who was doing what again?
I said I'd like to take a closer look at the window.
Roll another investigation. As you look through the window and get an eye on it again, you didn't notice it when you were casually passing by, but taking the moment and putting all your attention on this window, trying to figure out what you can gather from it, you see 3 indentions clawed in the woodwork of the frame that seem too far to be an irregular animal, but too awkward to be human.
Huh.
And too small to be Grimm.
Too small to be what?
Grimm.
Can I make a nature check?
You can try.
Okay.
As you're looking at it, you think it to be akin to some type of rat, except you immediately dismiss it because you don't know of a rat that is of that size.
Okay. Ardeen, can you take a look at this?
Artine takes like the hugest breath that you've ever seen, just and gets up and goes over there very slowly, sadly.
I kind of roll my eyes. Our fearless leader.
Schwartz, this was our fault.
Yes, it was our fault. That's why we must. That's why we must do these things head on, and not be squeamish about it.
I was the one who wanted to bring it here.
I kind of turn to Ordine, get close up into Ordine's face, and go, "Look, we signed up for this kind of life, hunters. We all knew that hunters just do not protect against Grimm. We know that we have to fight people that will become evil. So, you know that
What are you
this
talking
life.
about?
I kind of.
We're not police officers.
We're
We're
not police
hunters.
we're not police officers, but we still have the tools necessary to do things like this. And it's our fault. Therefore, we must fix this, and not be dandy about it. We have to hit this head on, not go around the bushes. We cannot just back away from this. If I kind of punch towards the body, this, as bad as it may be, can be worse if we do not stop it.
I mean, I think I get a second to like process. We found out like what, half an hour ago? I don't know how long it takes to get here, but we found out like minutes ago. I think I get a second to feel bad.
God, believably. I just
Have some empathy, Shorts. Matthias whispers.
normally I would, but we hardly knew the person, so it's hard for me to be attached to somebody I barely knew.
Then you don't have empathy.
He was still a person.
It was still a person, yes, and I do feel bad, but I have no attachment to this person. I talked one sentence to this person. Yes, I feel bad that he died, of course, but I do not feel an attachment to him. Nor do I understand why you have an attachment to him.
But it's not about him. I mean, I signed up to do this, to help people, and then I said we should bring it here, and we did, and he died for it, so.
It's around this time that, actually, go ahead and just roll for him instead of doing it. Guys, as you guys are just having this increasingly heated, I wouldn't say argument, but not seeing each other's points.
Discussion.
You turn to see Reeve as he picks something up off the table, as it looks to be the container that the icon was in, as he would hold it up in his hand and then turn it towards you all. Empty.
Well, we
Why
already
would they
knew it
leave
was
the container
missing.
here?
They just want what was inside.
Because it is easier to hide the artifact itself than the container.
At this point, I'm gonna start looking around at the desk and everything in the.
Yeah. I'm gonna try looking around like the marks and prints that Matthias saw, see if I can make any sense of them.
Yep, go ahead.
Trying to use my blood hunter skills, see if they help me out here. Want me to roll?
Investigation.
Oh yeah, can I roll? I found nothing.
You know nothing, Arden.
You move over to the desk as you can see different type of papers that seem to be notes from what you can only guess to be his books and whatnot that he's trying to gather information from. And you can't help it, but as you're trying to really dig down and concentrate on figuring out what happened, how did this happen, what was he finding that was enough to end his life, you just slowly trail up to the lifeless palm that still rested on the ground desk that goes up to the arm of Bode, and you just have that sting of responsibility. Meanwhile, over at the doorframe, Schwartz, you head over there, and Matthias is just keeping quiet as he's watching you as you look towards the claw marks and whatnot. You see them too, and you definitely notice that they're strange and not quite human, not quite Grimm, and not quite animal.
Can I look at the body and see if I see a dart? Trying really hard to concentrate. It's not working very well, but
Roll an
trying.
investigation at disadvantage.
Oh! That 18 would have been nice.
Looking over his body, you see his abundant evidence of his age. It shows in his skin, and as his flesh and color seems to become paler, more of a pale yellow, you see it. An anomaly around his neck that seems to be dark in tint. That seems to be out of place with the rest of his body, his skin, his clothes.
I'm gonna look away really fast and say, guys, and like point to it.
With no real
I
hesitation,
slowly walk over.
Ree would move down and pinch at it, taking it in his hand. As you see, holding in Ree's thumb and index, the barbed end of what looks like some type of dart.
So Markle is just laying there with an expression of fear on his face.
Fear and pain.
I'm going to kind of walk over and kind of wince as I close his eyes.
As you go over and do that, it's strange. His body seems to be burning up. As you move to close his eyes.
And then after closing them, I quickly pull my hand away. He's really hot to the touch.
Can I try looking over again and see, like, that's really weird. See what that's about.
You can try to roll a treatment at disadvantage. Medicine.
Okay. I clicked it.
Yeah,
God.
no. That's a body. That's a body of a guy you just talked to today.
Yeah. Her eyes start to water and she's just gonna go stand in a corner for a second.
Noticing now that he's warm, can I do a treatment? Wait, what is treatment?
Medicine.
No. Medicine, you mean? Okay. So can I do it?
Yes, go right ahead.
We're back. I need to get more ice.
It's better.
Such average rolls.
Looking over the corpse, yeah, it seems to be consistent with his whole frame. There's this generic raise in body temperature that seems to be far beyond that of a normal temperature for a regular person. And
So
you-
feverish or even above that?
above that,
Okay.
that you believe that this has some correlation with the cause of death.
That noise.
I think it's Ash's fan on his laptop.
Sorry.
Yes, you hear?
Huh.
Can you still hear that?
Hmm?
Can you still hear it?
Yeah. Or the noise, not really. A little bit, but it's okay.
So what do you want to do? Actually, while you guys are still in here, you just hear a subtle knock on the door.
I move to answer it. Kind of crack it open. Yes.
I was just making sure that everything was fine.
Who is it, by the way?
As you look at it, it seems to be Harkin.
Sort of. There's something very strange about the body. Do you think you might have any knowledge as to why his temperature would be so hot to the touch?
I wouldn't be the person for that. I know that Father Balford would probably be more knowledgeable on things of the body.
From the
okay, thank
corner.
you.
Oh, sorry. From the corner, I'm gonna stand up and ask, if there's anyone who's trained in medicine or this kind of thing
Yo,
that would be willing to help us. Is there anyone?
sorry, I might have to go because I cannot sit and my back is hurting like crazy. So I'll go lay down for a couple of minutes. If it doesn't go away, I'm sorry. It's hurting like crazy. It's hitting like big as hell. Sorry.
Say again?
I say I have to go because my freaking back is hurting. I cannot sit up straight. Like I cannot sit up. I have to go lay down because my back is hurting like crazy.
Well, that's fine. We're about to go on our break anyway.
Yeah, sorry. I'll try to see if it calms down and come back. If not, I'm sorry. I'll see you guys.
Feel better. Oh. And then there were two.
But anyways, does he answer? Or I say to Ardeen, he said that Father Balford is knowledgeable about the body, human body.
Can he come help? I mean, I'm not very helpful right now.
I can try to arrange for him to come. It won't be more than just a few moments.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harkin.
Harkin would nod as he would take one more glance in at the room and just look deeply saddened and turn to walk down the hall.
I am going to try to steal up again. And try to not looking at the body, like look around at some of the papers and stuff that was on the floor, the stuff on the floor.
Looking at the papers themselves, they all seem to be blank. There's nothing of importance and or anything written on them. They're just blank pieces of paper.
Are they like spilled?
Yeah, it seems like they've been like scattered across the ground.
Is it possible to see what he was last working on, or try to find that?
Tell me how you do it.
Look for any books that are open, or any papers with, well, are all papers blank? I want to see if there's any with the writing on them, and if the ink is still fresh or whatnot.
Give me an investigation. With advantage.
Oh, okay, 1 sec. Did that again.
So, getting on that line of thoughts, like, well, there's all these papers here. Maybe there's a correlation. You start to look around, trying to find more reason to, like, what he was actually looking at or looking for, as you begin to notice a pattern that all the papers here don't seem to be anything. They're just blank, which is strange. So you go and look at the ink pen, and you do notice that it was used as its lid was off. So then that gets you to think again as you start to look across the papers. Give me one more investigation on trying to see if you can see the imprint of what was written on top of the papers.
Okay. At normal?
Yes.
Alright. Darn it.
So you try to read the paper
Try so hard.
that was basically trying to see if you can read any scratchings or markings from anything that was written on top of them, but it's too worn, and obviously coming in here, you guys were very fragile with the scene, so it's been stepped on or moved around, so you can't even pinpoint where it came from to begin with.
I look over at Ardeen. There are absolutely no papers with writing. Did you notice that?
Kind of.
But the ink is open and has been used recently.
So they took whatever papers he was writing on.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can... There's any indentations that he left in the paper underneath, but I don't think...
I can try to look. I think. Can we try to look?
Go right ahead.
Still investigation. Oh, I'm still at disadvantage. Oops.
Well.
Am I? Well, it would have been the first one anyway.
No, yeah, yeah, it would have been 3. No, you can't tell any of Jonathan's eyes.
I am so
Reeve, get
useless.
over here.
Towards Reeve, can you guys help, please?
Well, what is it?
Do you think you can see if there's any indentations from previous writings or writing on...
He looks
really
over your
don't know how
shoulder
to
at the paper.
Oh my god. NPC player.
And he has a -1 too.
I don't understand. Why is this happening? I don't understand. What, you can't tell? It looks like
No?
some kind of map.
Oh.
Are you serious? Are you making this up?
No, look.
I
He like starts to point it out. It takes about like 5 or 10 minutes, but you start to see it.
What is it?
You're
about?
right. There is a map.
Can we tell what it is of?
You cannot.
Darn it. Darn it. Can you? Is it like how indented are the papers? Is it the kind of thing where you could do like some sort of a rubbing or something?
Yeah, like a charcoal rubbing or something. None of us have charcoal, but yeah.
Do you have charcoal? You think it. You can think it and state it out loud all you want. Do you have charcoal?
Son of a gun, no. Okay, so I
That's a
take the
big source.
paper.
Should have bought charcoal.
Excuse me?
But yeah, you take the paper.
Alright.
We can find some charcoal.
So put it in the player bank, Ardeen.
Okay.
Paper with map indentation.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and take our first break. Thank you guys for watching and coming through with our first campaign of the Ruby game. It's a slow start, but hopefully it can rev up. We're going to take a quick 10 to 15 minute break, get our legs stretched, get something to eat and all that, and we'll see you guys back here. So, see you soon.